So yesterday when we talked about the number line, we talked about always starting with 0 when you're adding. I'm going to change that today. I want you to turn it over and look at H on the back.
Oh my god.
I don't want to start with 0 on that one. What's the first number you add on that one? 15. So I'm changing the number line a little bit today, and I need you to really focus. So for adding mixed numbers, the best strategy is to move things around in an order that makes more sense. So what did we decide we'd like to do first yesterday? Add the whole numbers. Okay. So 2 plus 1, and then add the fractions. Okay, these are not like units. Fourths and fifths are not like units. So the strategy for finding like units what strategy do you think I should use? Least common multiple or multiply the denominators together? Multiply the denominators together. Now, if we did use least common multiple, it would be the same thing, okay? All right, so go ahead and write your new denominator down. I sometimes call it a common denominator. Zern calls it like units, okay? And work through this and check your work with mine. But please don't start on the number line yet, okay? 4 times what equals 20?
This is one of the problems where it's true.
I know, it is. And 5 times what equals 20? Now, I'm going to try not to go too fast, but this was pretty simple.
3 and 9 tenths.
3 and 9 20. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Now, let's look at the number line. What's the largest whole number I will put on my number line? 4. I'll look at this 3. I'll look at this 3. Don't accidentally look at the 20, because that's going to get you all mixed up. Look at the 3 and add 1 to it. Now, I'm going to start my number line with 2 today instead of 0. Why do you think I picked the number 2?
Even.
It's the first number we have to add.
Good.
Okay? So I want you to visualize your kangaroo coming down and jumping on the 2 to start with. Big feet on a kangaroo. Okay, now stop there for just a minute. Let's get the answer put on the number line. So 3 and 9 20ths. Here's the strategy I want you to use. What would be half if we're doing 20ths? 10 20ths. Okay, we're not doing half, but we're very close to half, aren't we? Okay, so put 3 and 9 20ths right there. A little below half and circle it. Okay, so do you remember why, Ethan, do you remember why we put a star beside the very first one? We're going to use this one for what?
We're going to use that one for number line.
You're right. We'll use that one for the number line. Now, Zern skips this right here. They just start you out with 3 sometimes. But since you're doing a number line, you can't start out with 3. You have to make sure you have 4 hops. So, plus 1. Now, to figure out 1/4, I'm going to look at these 2 whole numbers, 3 and 4, and visualize where 1/4 would be.
In the middle of that.
Right. So about right there. So plus 1/4, and you can't forget to write those above. And then 1/5, how am I going to figure that out?
Oh, it's going to be directly on the 3 and 9.
You're just going to go to your answer. Very good. Now here's what I'm going to grade. You've got to have your 4 hops, your answer circled on your number line, and your work completed correctly. All right? If we're going to do one more, and then I'm going to push pause. I really need you to focus, though, because you're going to have an exit ticket at the end of the lesson today.
Okay.
All right, so B, and I'm going to put my number line right here this time. And I'm going to call on people to help me this time.
Yes.
Jorge, how would you reorganize this problem?
Add the 2 plus 1.
Good.
And then add 3/4 plus 2.
Very good. So the only thing different about this problem from the first one we did is your numerators.
Yeah.
The numbers on top. Okay. So the strategy we're going to use to find the common denominator, same as last time, 2 sets of parentheses. And we're going to multiply what 2 numbers? 4 and 5 to get 20. Four times what equals 20? 3 times 5 equals? Okay, Jesus, 5 times what equals 20?
4.
So 2 times 4 equals?
8.
Good. So I can't stress enough. You have to write the improper fraction. So 15 plus 8, 23 20ths. I had a lot of students in block 1 miss problems on their exit ticket because they tried to go straight from the problem to the answer without writing the improper fraction. I've told you you can do some of this in your head, but you can't do this part in your head. So now I will do 3 plus 20 20ths plus 3 20ths equals
4 and 3 20.
good. The part you can do in your head is this part right here where you're adding 1 whole. Okay? So 4 and 3 20ths. Rayleigh, what's my largest? Okay. George, is he looking at you or what? I know. Hey, Sus, you come in here and sit on the floor. Okay, so what's my largest whole number, Rayleigh?
5.
Okay. And what number can I start with, Modesto?
2.
2. Because 2's the first number that I add. So the difference between 2 and 5 is 3. So how many tick marks do I need?
1, 3, 2.
2, because it's always 1 less. 3, 4. Okay, next thing, let's put the answer on there. Now we're going to think about it. I'm going to ask you a question, Christian.
Okay.
4 and 3 20ths. If I'm talking about 20ths, how many 20ths would be 1/4?
How many 20 would be 1/4? Oh, I don't even know.
What do you think? 5 20ths would be 1/4. 3 20ths is a little less than 1/4, isn't it? So a little less than 1/4 right there. Okay. And go ahead and circle it. Okay. I don't want to have to move you. So the first number I hop to, and you can't forget that. That's part of your 4 hops. And then hop 1 more. Now 3/4. It's past half, isn't it? Because 2/4 would be half. So, that right there?
Yeah.
Plus 3/4. And then how do I figure out 2/5? Go to the answer. Very good. Okay, for H, I'm going to write my number line above. Every M3L, tell me how to reorganize this problem to make it easier.
You first put 15 and 5 in parentheses,
Okay,
and then you put the fraction.
5/8 plus 2/5.
This one looks hard, but it's not.
All right, now I'm looking at the 8 and 5, already trying to think of what the common denominator is going to be. Let me go ahead and add 15 plus 5 first.
That's the common denominator.
Now let's talk about the 8 and 5. Remember, a multiple of 5 is going to end in a 5 or a 0, right? So all I have to do is count my 8s and stop at my first 5 or my first 0. So count my 8s with me. 8, 16, 24, 32. So what is it? If we would have done LCM, it would have been 40 anyway. Okay. Griffin, help me out here. 8 times what equals 40?
5.
So 5 times 5 equals?
25.
Christopher, 5 times what equals 40?
8,
So 2 times 8?
16.
Okay, so I have 20 and 41/40ths. Okay, now, you cannot skip writing your improper fraction. So this part right here cannot be done in your head. The part that can be done in your head is this next step where I add a whole. I'm not requiring that to be done on paper unless you mess up over and over and over again. So does your answer agree with mine?
Yes.
All right, how will I put this on the number line? My goodness. Nicole, help me out. What do you think?
The biggest number will be 22.
Okay, what's the very first number?
15.
All right. 15, 22 minus 15, what's the difference there?
7.
7. So how many tick marks?
6.
You're one step ahead of me. All right, 21 and 1/40th. That's really close to 21.
No, Mr. Bennett.
Okay, so is there anyone who I haven't called on to help me yet? Sebastian. What's my first hop going to stop on? And you can't skip writing plus 15. That's a pretty important part of your problem. Plus how many?
5.
Takes me to what? Good. Plus 5/8. Now here's what I always do. I think of the half. What would half be when we're talking about eighths?
4.
4/8. So 5/8 is a little bit past half, isn't it?
Yeah.
So plus 5/8. And then 2/5 is simple. Just go to my answer. All right.